Do you watch English movies, listen to English songs, study English every single day, and still feel stuck? Like nothing is actually moving. Like you are running on a treadmill and going nowhere. I know that feeling. And today, I am going to tell you the real reason why. Not the reason your teacher told you, not the reason the apps tell you, the real reason. And here is the thing. At the very start of this video, I am going to say something to you. Ready? She would have told him if she'd known. Say that again in your head. She would have told him if she'd known. If you do not fully understand why that sounds the way it does, why the words seem to disappear into each other, do not worry. By the end of this video, you will not just understand it, you will be able to say it yourself, naturally, without thinking. That is my promise to you. But first, I need to show you the 5 mistakes that are quietly destroying your progress. 5 specific things, and at least one of them, I promise, is something you are doing right now. Let's go. Okay, so mistake number 1. And this one is huge. This is the one nobody talks about. My students always make this mistake, and it breaks my heart every time I see it. They are studying English, but they are not learning English. Wait, what is the difference? Here is the difference. Studying is passive. Learning is active. When you sit and read a grammar book, that is studying. When you try to say a sentence out loud and get it wrong and try again, that is learning. When you watch a video with subtitles and just read the words, that is studying. When you pause the video, close your eyes, and try to repeat what you just heard, that is learning. Do you see the difference? One of them feels comfortable. The other one feels a little uncomfortable. And here is the truth that nobody tells you. If it feels comfortable, it is probably not working. Real learning feels a little bit hard, a little bit scary. That is the feeling of your brain actually changing. That is growth. So right now, I want you to pause this video. Yes, right now. Write down one thing you do every day to study English. Just one. Now look at it. Is it active or passive? Is it making you uncomfortable or is it easy? Because easy is not the enemy of lazy. Easy is just not enough. Okay, come back. Let's keep going. Because this next mistake is one I used to make myself. And it cost me years. I used to think that if I just kept listening to English, it would eventually click. Like some magic moment would happen. I would wake up one morning and suddenly understand everything. I watched American movies every single night for 2 years. 2 years. And guess what? My listening barely improved. How mad is that? I spent 2 years doing something that felt productive, but it was not working. And the reason is so simple. I was listening, but I was not training my ear. Those are 2 different things. Listening is passive. Training your ear is active. It is focused. It is intense. It is like the difference between going for a walk and going to the gym. Both involve moving, but only one of them actually builds strength. So what does training your ear actually look like? You take a short piece of audio, really short, 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute. You listen once, then you listen again. This time you write down every word you hear, then you check, then you listen again. You find the part you missed, you slow it down, you figure out why you missed it. Was it a word you did not know? Or was it a sound that got swallowed? Because in natural English, sounds get swallowed all the time. Words connect to each other. Letters disappear. Going to becomes gonna. Want to becomes wanna. Would have becomes would've. Boom. And if nobody ever trained you to hear that, you will miss it every single time, no matter how many movies you watch. So here is your second practice moment. Close your eyes right now. I am going to say a phrase and I want you to try to repeat it after me. Ready? I'm going to go get something to eat. Now you try. Say it out loud. Not, I am going to go and get something to eat. No. I'm going to go get something to eat. Did you say it? Did it feel weird? Good. That weirdness is your brain rewiring. And this next one blew my mind when I first understood it. Mistake number 3. And this one is a reframe. You think the problem is your vocabulary. You think if you just learned more words, everything would fall into place. More words equals better English. Right? Wrong. That is not the problem. The problem is not what words you know. The problem is that you do not know how to use the words you already have. Think about this. A native English speaker uses about 2,000 words in daily conversation. 2,000. You probably already know 1,000, maybe more. But you are out there trying to memorize 5,000 words from a vocabulary app. And the words in that app are things like ubiquitous and phenomenon. When was the last time someone asked you about a ubiquitous phenomenon in a coffee shop? Never. Because real English is not about big rare words. Real English is about simple words used in flexible ways. For example, the word get. Do you know how many ways native speakers use get? I get it. I get up at 7. I will get you back for that. Did you get that email? Things are getting better. She got me thinking. That is one word, 6 completely different meanings. And native speakers switch between them naturally without even thinking. So instead of learning 500 new words this week, I want you to take 5 words you already know and find 10 ways to use each one. That is 50 new ways to express yourself with words you already have. That is leverage. That is smart learning. And wait till you hear the next one, because this is the one that changed everything for me. Mistake number 4 is about the way you practice speaking. And I say this with love. Most people practice speaking in the worst possible way. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until their grammar is perfect. They wait until their vocabulary is big enough. They wait and they wait and they wait. And the speaking never comes. Because here is the truth. You will never feel ready. Nobody feels ready. Confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. Every single time, even badly, even with mistakes, even when you forget a word in the middle of a sentence and have to say 5 times. That still counts. That still builds something. I remember my first real conversation in Spanish. I was living in Madrid. I walked into a bakery and I tried to order a sandwich. I got completely confused. I used the wrong word. I said something that made the woman behind the counter laugh. Not in a mean way, but she laughed. And I wanted to disappear. But I went back the next day, and the day after that. And by the end of the month, I was having proper conversations with her about the weather, about football, about her family. Because I did not stop. That is the only reason. Not because I got smarter, not because I found some magic method. I just did not stop. So here is your third practice moment. Right now, I want you to think of one person in your life you can speak English with this week. Just one person. A friend, a coworker, even someone online. Write their name down. And this week, you are going to start one English conversation with them. One. That is all. Just one. Because 1 is infinitely more than 0. And when that conversation feels hard and uncomfortable, good. You are learning. Exactly. Now let's get to mistake 5. Mistake number 5. And this might be the most important one. This is the one that will make every other thing in this video work better. It is about review. Specifically, the fact that almost nobody does it. You learn something new. A word, a phrase, a grammar rule. It feels good in the moment. You feel like you got it, and then you never look at it again. And 3 days later, it is gone. Completely. Like it never happened. This is not your fault. This is just how your brain works. Your brain is designed to forget things it does not see repeated. It is a survival tool. Your brain says, we only saw this once. It is probably not important. Let's delete it. And it deletes it. This is why people can study English for 5 years and still feel like beginners, because they keep learning new things without reviewing the old things. So the new things pile up on top of forgotten things and nothing ever sticks. The fix is simple. Not easy, simple. You review what you learned within 24 hours. Just a quick look, 5 minutes. Then you review it again 3 days later. Then again a week later. Then again a month later. Each time you review, the memory gets stronger. Each time it takes less effort to remember. This is called spaced repetition. You do not need an app for this. You can use a notebook, a piece of paper, a note on your phone. Just write down 3 things you learned today. Review them tomorrow. Review them again on Friday. Review them again next week. That is it. That simple habit will do more for your English than any app, any class, any video, including this one. Because information without review is just entertainment. It feels good, but it does not stick. And you do not want entertainment. You want results, right? Good. Let's keep going, because I want to go back to something. Do you remember that phrase at the very beginning of this video? She would have told him if she'd known. Let's talk about why that phrase sounds the way it does. Because this is where everything we talked about today comes together. In natural English, when you speak fast, words do not stay separate. They blend together. Would have becomes would have. She had becomes she'd. The sounds merge. The unstressed syllables almost disappear. And if you have only ever read English or studied it from textbooks, this will confuse you every single time. Because the written word and the spoken word are almost 2 different languages. The written form is she would have told him if she had known. The spoken form in natural fast English is she would have told him if she'd known. Same meaning, completely different sound. And this is why so many people can read English perfectly but cannot understand a conversation. It is not because they are not smart. It is because they were never trained to hear the spoken version. They were trained to see the written version. So here is what I want you to do with that phrase right now. Say it with me. Slow first. She would have told him if she had known. Now faster. She would have told him if she'd known. One more time. Even faster. She would have told him if she'd known. Get it? Boom. You just trained your ear and your mouth at the same time. That is active learning. That is what we talked about at the very beginning. That is not studying. That is learning. And you can feel the difference, right? Now, I want to put all 5 of these things together for you, because I know that hearing 5 mistakes all at once can feel like a lot. So let me make it simple. The first mistake is being passive when you need to be active. The fix is to do something with every piece of English you encounter. Repeat it, write it, use it. The second mistake is just listening without training your ear. The fix is short, focused listening practice where you write what you hear and check your work. The third mistake is chasing new vocabulary instead of mastering what you have. The fix is to go deep with simple words instead of going wide with complicated ones. The fourth mistake is waiting until you feel ready to speak. The fix is to speak now, badly if necessary, and let the confidence come from the doing. The fifth mistake is not reviewing what you learn. The fix is a simple spaced repetition habit. 5 minutes a day. Done. These 5 things are not complicated. They are not secret. But most people will watch this video and go back to doing exactly what they were doing before. Do not be that person, because you have come too far. You have wanted this too long. And the only thing standing between you and confident English is not grammar. It is not vocabulary. It is not your accent. It is the way you are spending your practice time. That is all. Change that, and everything else changes with it. I want to leave you with one more thing before we finish. Because this is important. Learning English is not a sprint. I know you have heard people say you can be fluent in 3 months. I know the internet is full of promises like that. And I am not going to tell you it is impossible. But I am going to tell you this. The people who make the most progress are not the ones who go hardest for 3 months and then burn out. They are the ones who go consistently for a long time. Every day, even when they do not feel like it. Even when progress feels slow. Even when they feel like they are not moving. Because the movement is happening underneath the surface, even when you cannot see it. Like a seed underground, before it breaks through the soil. The growth is real. You just cannot see it yet. So do not measure your progress by how you feel on a bad day. Measure it by where you are now compared to where you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. You have already come further than you think. And if you keep going with the right methods, with active practice, with consistent review, with real speaking, with focused listening, you will get there. Not because it is easy, but because you are choosing it every single day. And that choice is the most powerful thing you have. Now, here is your next step. If you want to train your listening specifically, go and watch my video on connected speech right after this one. It goes even deeper into why natural English sounds the way it does and how to train your ear to hear it properly. It is the single best thing you can do after watching this video, and it is completely free. Go watch it, take notes, then review those notes tomorrow and the day after. And remember, you do not need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. That is the whole secret. That is everything. 5 mistakes, 1 habit, 1 decision, and 1 more thing. That phrase from the beginning. She would have told him if she'd known. You understand it now. You can say it now. And that is exactly how progress works. 1 phrase at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 choice at a time. Now go make yours.